Would you agree the world is a little messed up right now? Would you agree that with all the shootings and the bombings and the terrorist activity, these last 10 years, the world has changed tremendously. And I'm on a mission to help that change. You see, I believe that those challenges we're facing as a society today start right with the individual. That when people aren't in their right mind, when people aren't healthy, when they can't think properly, they make bad decisions. They surround themselves with the wrong people. They get involved with the wrong products and things like drugs. See, I believe that the world is the way it is today because the society is built upon families and communities, which is based upon individual people and the decisions people are making. And I want people to think better, think more clearly. And your chiropractor can help you with that. You see, when you live a healthy lifestyle, when you don't smoke, when you make decisions that are good for you, like exercise, and when you eat properly, and when you spend time with your children and your family, and when you put your kids to bed on time and you give them rules to follow in life, when you keep your nervous system functioning freely so that you can think clearly, the world becomes a better place. And it starts with the family. The family becomes better, becomes healthier, which means your community becomes better, which means the cities become better, which means eventually the world becomes a better place. And you have the ability to impact that in your own little society, in your own little world. I encourage you to bring not just yourself into your chiropractor, but bring your family in, refer your friends, and here's why. If everybody you knew was thinking better and made just one better decision, your friend or your husband or your spouse, your wife, how would you feel? How would it affect their life if all they did was start exercising when they weren't exercising already? Or if they gave up smoking? How much of an impact would that have? If you had your kids go to bed on time every night versus getting their way all the time? You see, the chiropractic lifestyle, it's not just about getting adjusted, and it's certainly not about just getting out of pain. It's about thinking for yourself and having your nervous system working better so that you're able to do so and make better decisions. So I implore upon you, for the sake of not just your family, but for the world, that you take it upon yourself to refer your family and your friends in. You see, I started chiropractic care myself when I was a child. And I think back on my childhood and my teenage years, how much different it would have been had I not been getting chiropractic care. I know some of the decisions I made in life. And in my own practice, I see it from the parents who brought their kids in. When those kids got old enough to have their own children, the decisions that were being made were dramatically better than had they not been engulfed in that chiropractic world. Now, I don't want to take credit saying that because of chiropractic, they made those decisions. It was because they chose chiropractic that it influenced other areas of their life. Like they chose to eat better. Okay? They chose not to live their life on medications, or they chose to get off of a life of drugs. You see, I know it could change lives because I'll tell you a quick story. There's a doctor who, and I apologize, I don't know the doctor's name, who took some time, him and a colleague, and went into San Quentin prison. San Quentin, where hardened criminals are. And they were given all these rules about how they were supposed to interact, but they were given permission to adjust the inmates. And the inmates had a dramatic change after just one visit. In fact, the warden, as I understand, contacted the chiropractors and asked them to come back because they said the prison had an energy level that was so much different after the chiropractors visited, that there was peace and calm, that the interaction between the inmates was different. They were able to make better decisions, or they weren't reactive. See, that's the problem we have in today's world. Everybody's so reactive versus responsive. In order to be responsive, you have to be thinking clearly. In order to think clearly, your nervous system has to be working as best as possible. And wouldn't you agree your life would be better if you thought more clearly, you made better decisions? Some of the decisions that were not so good, if you didn't make them, life would be better. So I implore upon you, for the sake of not just yourself and your family, not just for your friends, not for just your community, but for society in general, so that there aren't shootings, so there aren't continued bombings, that you get at a point to have your spine and nervous system checked. If it turns out your friend or your family doesn't need chiropractic care, then so be it. But wouldn't you want to know if there was something you can do to keep them from being harmed? So I encourage you, stay on your appointments, follow your doctor's advice, continue to live a wellness lifestyle, which involves, again, I'll mention, proper rest. And I start with that because without rest, From personal experience, I know this. You just don't think clearly and you don't function well. It is so, so important. Good at nutrition. You got to be eating well. You got to be eating properly. Nutrition is vital, vital, vital. Proper exercise. You got to be moving your body. You got to be moving regularly. This entire structure is designed for movement. If without movement, what's the purpose of the physical body? Then we have positive attitude, making sure you're thinking clearly, thinking positive thoughts. You're not thinking negative and doom and gloom and what ifs all the time and negative scenarios. And then a proper functioning nervous system and immune system, making sure that the communication pathways of the body are working well and the defense mechanisms of the body are working as best as possible. And if you put attention on all of that stuff, you will live a healthy lifestyle. In fact, one of the things I love to tell patients is, if you live like your buddies down the street live, you'll end up dying like your buddies down the street. You see, your buddy down the street who smokes, who drinks, or doesn't put attention onto being healthier, the leading causes of death in America are heart disease, diabetes, cancer, stroke, lifestyle diseases. And if you continue living like everybody else, you will die like everybody else. So if you don't want to die like everybody else and you want to live a long, healthy life, you need to make effort and change that. So I implore you to talk to your doctor, ask them questions, learn more about what you can do to benefit yourself and your family, and bring their family and friends in. Have a great one.